passengers, this is your captain speaking. Welcome everyone on right wing flight 86A. We are currently cruising at an altitude of 33,000 feet at an airspeed of 400 miles per hour. The weather looks good and we are expecting to land at your destination in time. The cabin crew will be coming around to offer you a nice show. I'll talk to you again before we reach our destination. Until then, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show.
That's right. Welcome to your traveling guide, The Art of Destination Traveling, a show designed for you to embrace the journey of a lifetime with Emirates Airlines for a comfortable and sophisticated experience and world's best in-flight entertainment. Every Thursday 7 p.m. only on Radio Foorti 88 FM.
Hello everyone, you're listening to Radio Foorti 88 FM and I'm back here with the show, The Art of Destination Traveling, brought to you by Emirates. Emirates, fly better. And like any other episode, we have a very special guest with us who will share a lot of insights about traveling, kothay jete hobe, what are the do's and don'ts, ki kora jabe na, sob kichu mile. It will be a very fun episode and a very insightful one as well. I have Mr. Please introduce yourself. I have Mr. Zihan with me today and he's going to share a lot of stories. And let's introduce you.
Well,
Hi.
Thank you for having me. In short, I run my own educational tech firm. It's basically a tutoring platform where students could find the perfect tutors for themselves.
Okay.
But then it evolved into this platform where basically students or tutors of any kind, or in fact even people who are just looking for a part-time gig, can find a living for themselves.
That's really fantastic.
Thank you.
What inspired you to become a traveler, or what inspired you to travel a lot?
So basically, again, I was born in the UK.
Alright.
So being born there, obviously UK was a part of the EU back then. So traveling between countries like France, Germany, Italy, it was very easy back then, right? So I don't know if you would call that inspired, because again, that wasn't my decision. That was my parents. But I guess I kind of get this from my dad because he could not stay in one place. Like he would go there, he would go here. I don't think there is one village or one place in Bangladesh he hasn't gone to. Very few countries in Europe he hasn't gone to, because we were there for about 5 years.
Okay.
My parents were there for like 7 or 8 years. So I guess it started from there. And if I talk about from a more conscious age, why I still do travel, I don't know, it's boring at home, right? I mean, you do want to go to places,
Yeah.
you want to meet people, you want experiences. So that's something that no material object can ever give you.
I wish I could actually travel a lot like you. Could you please tell us more about your visits to USA?
Okay, so I have been there, I think 7 times.
All right.
I'm not exactly sure. It's either 7 or 8, something like that. Most recently, I've been there this summer. So, well, it would help with more specific questions. I guess I can give you a general overview. Is obviously the US is much different from Bangladesh.
Okay, let's make it easy for you.
Yes.
What's your favorite thing about USA? USA কোন জিনিসটা মানে that it's here but it's not here. Sorry, it's not here but it's
Right.
there.
I would say diversity, but you're probably thinking about diversity in the sense of race or culture. That's not exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm talking about people's mentality.
Okay.
Over here, you might get judged, or there are certain rules to doing things in life. Over there, you're just who you are. You're just enjoying yourself, and there are so many options, so many different things to do. Like a person living in Bangladesh might think that, okay, there's this certain type of thing I want to see, so I have to go to this country or that country. You probably couldn't finish like touring America in an entire lifetime.
All right. That's actually, well, that's about it actually. What are the must-visit places if you talk about New York? What are the exact places that you love? Since you have visited a lot of times, I'm sure যে আপনি অনেক কিছুতে familiar about it. Favorite জায়গাগুলো কোনগুলো?
So New York is basically starting from Bangladesh. In most cases, it's like the destination to go to.
Okay.
Like even if you're going to a different state, you're probably transiting through New York. And New York is, well, from the Bangladeshi point of view, the Bengali America. It's probably heaven in America for a Bengali, because almost, if I'm talking specifically about New York City, especially the Queens area, you will find a huge, what you would call Bengali para, right?
Right.
Any Bengali going there, it'll feel like he's home. or she's
ওখানে
home.
there are departmental stores as well. Entire community is Bangla. You will find all the famous restaurants there as well. মানে ওখানে একটা সেকশন আছে।
তো নিউ ইয়র্কে বেস্ট জিনিস যদি শুরু করি যেটা এখানে নাই এবং ওখানে আছে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে অবশ্যই একটা বড় জিনিস হচ্ছে যে ওখানে বিভিন্ন রকমের মানুষ দেখছেন। আর এটা দেখতেই একটা জিনিস যে আন্তর্জাতিক বাঙালি, যে বাংলাদেশি মানুষ আমি আবার আরেক দেশে গিয়ে পাচ্ছি, এবং জিনিসটা দেখতে আসলে সুন্দর লাগে যে বাঙালি মানুষরা কত সুন্দরভাবে ওইখানে জীবনযাপন করছে, কত সুন্দরভাবে ওখানে থাকছে। তার সাথেও আবার মানে আপনি ওইখানে গিয়ে একটা আমেরিকান বাঙালি কালচারাল মিক্স পাচ্ছেন ওখানে গিয়ে, এই জিনিসটা দেখতে খুবই সুন্দর লাগে। আর যদি আমি এমনি বলতে চাই যে একটা বাঙালির জন্য যেটা খুবই কি বলবো মানে খুব ভালো লাগে ওখানে গিয়ে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে আপনি এত দূরে গিয়ে বাংলাদেশ থেকে গিয়েও বাংলাদেশ থেকে আমেরিকা গিয়ে আপনি বাংলাদেশই পাচ্ছেন। মানে আপনি সকালে ঘুম থেকে উঠে হচ্ছে যে পরোটা নাস্তা করতে পারবেন, আপনি হচ্ছে ওইখানে গিয়ে শাড়ি সালোয়ার কামিজের দোকান পাচ্ছেন, আপনি এমন কি ওইখানে সন্ধ্যাবেলায় দেখবেন যে হকাররা হচ্ছে ওখানে জিনিসপাতি বিক্রি করছে, এবং ওখানে দেখবেন যে আন্টিরা হচ্ছে নেগোশিয়েট করছে, আঙ্কেলরা ওখানে বসে আড্ডা মারছেন, লুঙ্গি পরা মানুষ দেখা যাবে ওখানে। তো বলা যায় যে কিছুটা হচ্ছে একটা প্রিমিয়াম ঢাকাও বলা যায় আপনি ওখানে গিয়ে পাচ্ছেন। তো
the touch of Bangladesh is right there.
একদম পুরোপুরি মানে বিশেষ করে এই জায়গাটার নাম আসলে জ্যাকসন হাইটস, রাইট? জ্যাকসন হাইটসের মধ্যে এটা সবচেয়ে বেশি করে পাওয়া যায়। ওইখানে ইনফ্যাক্ট একটা জায়গা আছে, আমি জানি না এখনো অফিসিয়াল আছে নাকি, বাট লিটল বাংলাদেশ। তো লিটল বাংলাদেশে গিয়ে আমার অ্যাকচুয়ালি সবচেয়ে মজা লাগছে, কারণ ওইখানে এক হচ্ছে আমি আমার অনেক ফ্রেন্ড পাইছি, এবং আমার যেটা মনে হয় যে কোনো বাঙালি ওখানে গেলে নিজের অনেক পরিচিত পাবে, ফ্যামিলি বলেন ফ্রেন্ডস বলেন। তো এটা কিছুটা হচ্ছে একটা যে আমরা যখন বড় হইতে হইতে মুভিজ দেখে আমেরিকান লাইফটা কীরকম, রাইট? হয়তো বা ছোটোবেলায় চিন্তা করছি আমরা ফ্রেন্ডরা মিলে ওখানে থাকলে কেমন হতো। তো যখনই নিউ ইয়র্কে যাচ্ছি ফ্রেন্ডদেরকে বা রিলেটিভসদেরকে নিয়ে এক সপ্তাহ বা 2 দিন, একদিন, যতদিনই ওখানে থাকে ওই লাইফটা ওই মজাটা ওখানে পেতে পারতেছি, রাইট?
That's really sweet. We will talk about this a lot more, but radio theke I will take a break right now because we are going to listen to very great music, and you're listening to The Art of Destination Traveling, brought to you by Emirates. Fly better, and of course, do Foorti.
Constantly Bangla kotha bolo.
Anyway, we will still be live on Facebook, and we are actually going to ask a lot of questions to you at the same time. Though radio theke it's a break right now, but our Facebook people are actually watching you right now. So tell me, what are the activities that you love doing at New York?
Well, there are so many to list. I guess I should probably start with Manhattan, because that is the tourist destination to go to. The famous Times Square is where you have to be. And honestly, it depends on when you're going. So if you're going like in December, right? The freezing cold is something very new to all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've even once had something similar to frostbite, but it wasn't really that bad. The 31st December celebrations are amazing. I mean, the ball drop and the way everybody congregates over there, and seeing so many people, and it's also safe, and doing all of that with your friends. Yes, that is a different experience. Around Times Square, you're going to find almost every brand, every type of car, every type of cell phone manufacturer, everything. So it's obviously a great place for shopping. And if I talk about my personal favorite experiences, well, I really like to see stuff, right? And there are so many gameplays, there are so many trade shows, there are so many. For example, the other day not the other day, the last time I went there, I saw a theatrical street performance of Batman and the Joker. And these were just two random people on the street doing it. And other than that, there are these amazing destinations and places to go to where it's sort of like a mini theme park type. You have these mini museums. And I just think that Times Square and Manhattan themselves, they have everything that anybody would
life
want.
all over
yes,
the
everyone.
place.
It's for every type of age, every type of person. And this is truly marvelous that when you see every type of person is there and there's no problem, everyone's getting along with their lives. During night, the party life might be a bit different for certain people. It gets a little wild. But yeah, that is for some people to enjoy, and for those that do not enjoy that, there are ample amount of restaurants and places to go to over there. I mean, the very park over there is probably bigger than a sector in Uttara.
That's really amazing. Since we are talking a lot about travelings, what are those things that is so essential, je jinishgula chhara you don't step out when you're going somewhere? for traveling, not for regularly. It's like these are your traveling essentials, if you call it.
Like within a country or abroad?
Anywhere, whatever, whenever you're traveling, what are your essential items that you carry?
Okay, so I have a very different approach to traveling. That is, I like to pack minimally.
Right.
The most recent example is on my honeymoon. Even though I went with my wife, I had one rule. Regardless of what the luggage allowance is, we take one bag, not suitcase, one bag. And if we need anything, we buy it over there. Finished.
Less the better.
Less the better, because the thing is, when you're traveling, there are two ways to travel. One is you go somewhere and you sit there, you stay there for a while. And the other is you go somewhere and you explore. I am a fan of the second. So when you're having to change between destinations or you're having to make transits between vehicles, it's a lot of hassle to carry all that baggage. So in that case, I actually recommend taking the least possible. The absolute musts for me are obviously my cell phone, because I can't go anywhere without that. And this actually helps so much in the States, because in the States, if you actually only have your cell phone, it helps so much because Google Maps will literally take you through everywhere. You could be underwater and they will tell you where to go. Obviously, the payment systems help a lot, the online payment systems through your phone. Power bank is a must. As little clothing as possible, because honestly speaking, even if you do change every day, cleaning your clothes is not really that big of a hassle. You can just put into the washing machine. And yeah, the essentials, it probably differs for a female. For me,
Definitely.
probably socks and 2 pair of shoes.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
There was this theory, the usual bloggers actually follow this, or the travelers actually follow this, that you carry things that you can carry with your one hand. If you can't carry your things in one hand, you are having too much things to travel with. That's one of the theories I heard. So just felt like sharing it. Anyway, I will ask you more questions, but we will go back to radio because the music break is almost over. So let's start. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Art of Destination Traveling, brought to you by Emirates, fly better. And you're listening to Radio Foorti 88 FM, and you're watching me on Radio Foorti's official Facebook page at the same time. And I want to remind you something. যেহেতু শীতকাল চলে আসছে, শীতকালে সবাই অনেক ঘোরাঘুরি করে. To be honest, অফিসের অনেক annual leave বাকি থাকে. Anyway, you can just travel with your friends and family. You can go to New York, Toronto, or London, and you can just go there comfortably with Emirates, because Emirates, fly better. I'll get back to you, and I want to know what are the destinations that you love the most, and what are the destinations you love traveling so far.
Obviously, the States will rank completely at the top of my mind. আমি বলতে গেলে ফ্লোরিডা আমার সবচেয়ে পছন্দের জায়গা, কারণ আমি ডিজনির অনেক বড় ফ্যান এবং ডিজনি ওয়ার্ল্ড ওখানে। বাট এটা ছাড়াও অনেক ভালো ভালো লোকেশন আছে, যেরকম আমার টরন্টোতে গিয়ে খুব ভালো লেগেছিল। এইবারে ইনফ্যাক্ট গিয়েছিলাম নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকেই ডিরেক্ট আমরা টরন্টো চলে যেতে পেরেছিলাম, কারণ ঠিক পাশাপাশি যেহেতু। নিউ ইয়র্ক আর টরন্টো অনেকটা সেম মনে হয়, কিন্তু অবশ্যই টরন্টোর কিছু ভিন্নতা আছে, যেরকম সবচেয়ে সুন্দর যেটা হচ্ছে নায়াগ্রা ফলস। বিশেষ করে রাত্রে, মানে এত বড় ওয়াটারফলে যখন আপনি দেখছেন যে পানিরই রংটা বদলায় যাচ্ছে, এত বড় ওয়াটারফল, এটা দেখতে আসলে খুবই সুন্দর। এবং ওরা হচ্ছে যে প্রত্যেক সপ্তাহে সম্ভবত শনিবার আমার যতটুকুন আছে একটা ফায়ারওয়ার্ক শো করে ওয়াটারফলের সময়, তো ওইটা দেখতে খুব ভালো লাগে। এবং ওই পুরো জোনটা একটা ট্যুরিস্ট জোন। তো আমি বলতে পারি যে ওই 2 রাত যেটা কাটিয়েছি নায়াগ্রাতে, মানে ওয়ান অফ দ্য বেস্ট এক্সপিরিয়েন্সেস অফ মাই লাইফ। এশিয়ার কথা যদি বলি, অবভিয়াসলি থাইল্যান্ড র্যাঙ্কস নাম্বার 1 ফর মি, অ্যান্ড বিকজ অফ দ্য ভ্যারিয়াস এক্সপিরিয়েন্সেস, especially places like Phi Islands and Koh Samui. And that is not to mention, of course, I've loved my time in London, even though that was a very long time ago, because it's just so different. Especially as a football fan, I loved it over there. The weather, the people, and the food. Oh my God, the different types of cuisine that you find.
I was actually coming to that.
Oh, you should.
What are your favorite food items when you explore? And এত জায়গায় যেহেতু you traveled a lot, and সবাই খাবার explore করতে অনেক পছন্দ করে. People like taking food, pictures, and ওখানে restaurants try করতে পছন্দ করে. What are your favorite places that you explored so far?
See, this is such a sensitive question, because I mean, food is something that, again, not only does it differ from palate to palate, but when you're going from one location to the other, it changes so much. I mean, when you have biryani over here compared to biryani or in India or in America, in London, the taste differs vastly. Even in America, like let's say I go from New York to Florida, and I'm going to two Bengali restaurants. They have a different type of taste and different type of flavoring for the food. So I guess what I can say is what were my favorite foods in certain locations. For example, going to America. Okay, before I go into this, before I go anywhere, what I do is I just look up what's the best cuisine, like the
Alright.
best must-have food
You
to
play
have.
safe when it comes to choosing the food.
Must. I'm
Alright.
very picky about food, and I go through all of these food bloggers and whatever, and these reviews and everything. Mostly people who do these videos and going through Google reviews, because Google reviews you can always trust. That is a good source of finding out what food is best for me. But I guess to generalize in the States, mostly, this also applies for Canada too. The best food, in my opinion, would obviously be their burgers. I mean, their fast food is to die
American
for.
burgers, yes.
And the portions, I mean, it's hard for me to finish. And I feel like I'm somebody who can eat a lot. I guess everybody can see that.
Alright.
It's a terrible idea to actually have Bengali cuisine going to America because, like, bro, why? Do that at home. Don't do that there. Try their cuisine. And a must-have cuisine to me is Turkish cuisine. I mean, it's just so different, and the way they blend it, the way they make it, especially if you go to Ankara. But in America, there are a few restaurants, especially in New York, who have replicated it perfectly.
Alright.
And in London, I would say my favorite cuisine was the French. But I'm assuming that's a typical answer. But it's not. The reason it's a typical answer is because it's so good. But a little expensive. I must admit, a bit
Everything
expensive.
there should be actually more expensive.
Oh, yes. Very.
When you actually travel, you said you choose cuisines, right?
Yes.
When you're doing so, do you explore the places and connect with locals, or do you always carry your friends around, or do you try to connect with other people as well?
So one thing I really like doing, and my family all thought I was weird for it, is wherever I go, I like to randomly make friends. I like to randomly talk to people. Like if I'm going past a construction site, I'll probably find a construction worker and talk to him for hours. And especially in the subway when you're moving around, I mean, sometimes certain journeys take like hours, right? I mean, going from, let's say, one state to another in one of these countries, 2 or 3 hour journeys. So if I'm alone, I'm going to talk to the person beside me, or I'm going to look at something that's happening. So yeah, especially I like talking to chefs since you've mentioned cuisines, because I want
শেফদের সাথে কথা বলে না, you get to learn a lot of things. তারা
হ্যাঁ।
অনেক কিছু ইনসাইটস দেয় এবং এটা ভালো লাগে, and তারা অনেক ভাস্ট একটা আইডিয়া রাখে, which is really great. And I love talking to chefs as well at the same time.
হ্যাঁ, ওদের সাথে কথা বলে মনে হয় যে আসলে কুকিংটা আসলে হাতের কাজ না, এটা হচ্ছে একটা ভালোবাসার কাজ, এরকম একটা
Yeah, they do it
ভাইব
with
পাই
heart,
তাদের থেকে।
yes.
Right.
Which
So
is
it
very amazing.
gives you a different perspective of life, of how to be more productive. I don't know, maybe that's helped me be a more productive person too. Inspiration from them.
That's actually a great inspiration. When you are like traveling, and there are a lot of things that goes on while you travel, what are the lessons that you have learned? মানে যেটা হচ্ছে শিখতেই হবে, মানে যারা নতুন ট্রাভেল করছে বা যারা হচ্ছে কখনো যায়নি তাদের জন্য, what are the lessons
Okay.
that you should always follow this?
No amount of preparation is going to be enough.
Okay.
Whenever you go to a place for the first time, you will mess up. Whatever budget you keep 10% of that exact budget as accident budget, because something or the other is bound to go wrong, and that is not to fret for anybody, because that is a memory, right? If you miss a plane, if you miss a train, you probably got the wrong food. I hope you don't get food poisoning. Maybe you lost your luggage. By the way, all of these things that I'm saying, I've been through all of these.
Oh my goodness.
Right, I've missed flights, I've missed my luggage, they lost my luggage, all of these. But just know this, that all of these are things that you can share, that you can talk about, and these are the things that you're going to remember.
And actually, when you talk about it, people will know better, because অনেকেই এটা হয় যে insights গুলো না nobody gets to know because it's a lack of sharing. People don't
জি।
actually talk about it. So which is actually very good.
Right, so people are going to mess up every time you go to somewhere new. It's bound to happen, but again, don't worry about that, be ready for that. And something else that I would like to mention for especially new travelers is that, I mean, it kind of contradicts with what I just said, but look into things that you want to do before you go somewhere, because once you go somewhere there are going to be a lot of cultural shocks, and there are going to be certain things that you go like, oh my god, I wish I did that. And usually every traveling is not for 30 days or 40 days that you can go somewhere and you'll be like, okay, I'm going to go there next time. No, if you're going for a week, you should probably be ready for what you're going to do. Look up things. Google is so helpful in these cases. Just for example, X destination, Y activity, and you're going to find a lot of these things.
Okay. We will listen to more of your stories, but right now I'm going to take a break from the radio because you're listening to Radio Foorti FM and it's time for some great music. And you're watching us on Radio Foorti's official Facebook page, The Art of Destination Traveling, brought to you by Emirates. Emirates, fly better, and do Foorti. So, coming back to you, I want to listen to your stories. Je ki face korechen, but notable erokom kichu hoyeche kina that our audiences would love to know.
Oh, so many. I don't know where to start. So, how about I start with flight experiences?
Sure.
So, this one time I was there, our flight got delayed. This is a very natural thing because weather conditions and all of that. So, our transit was 3 to 4 hours. Our delay was longer than that. As a result of which, we had to stay overnight over there, right? And oh my god, the hotel and accommodation was just beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. And you get to roam for free completely. You get to do everything.
Everything is complimentary.
Everything. The airlines took care of everything for us. And I mean, going there, coming back, booking hotels, breakfast, everything. You just go there and relax. An issue with flight delays like this is, in my experience, and this has happened a few times, is that sometimes your luggage can get misplaced.
Very
Fortunately
common.
for us, it's never been lost, but it's been misplaced, and sometimes those luggages can have, let's just say, important items. So I think this was in 2018, our luggage got delayed. Back then, at the time, we knew it was lost, so we registered a complaint as usual. And then we had to go home, home over there, wherever we were staying. And the first time was a bit difficult. But something that I really appreciated was that the airlines contacted us immediately. Like, within a few hours, they got to my brother. We gave his contact number and they told us about the situation. They apologized. The next day, they just gave us an update, took our address. And the day after that, they returned our luggage with compensation. And that was amazing.
That's really fantastic.
We actually used that compensation to travel more.
Yeah. That adds up very nicely.
Yeah, so you could kind of say they sponsored my tour a bit.
Who doesn't love complimentary stuff
of course.
on tours and travels? During the long transits, since we were talking about transit se hoche, you explored a lot of hotels and everything. So how do you spend your time there? What are the notable things you did there?
During the transits?
During the transits, you were accommodated in a hotel.
Yeah.
But what are the activities you could do during that period? And ki korte you had fun?
So fortunately, the second time I had to stay overnight because of a delay, I was prepared for it and I wasn't too worried because I knew it was coming. So the moment I get to know that, okay, I have to stay here overnight, even though the people with me were not that calm, I take out my phone and I see what to do here.
You research.
Yes,
That's the best thing you should do while traveling.
Instantly. And it's not even that hard. Like I said before, just Google. Like, for example, let's say you're in Dubai. What to do in Dubai? That's simple.
That's easy. Yeah.
It's very easy. And Dubai, again, since it's geographically a small country, it's easier to visit and tour. You can finish the entire thing within, to be very honest, 12 to 14 hours. And they took us to our hotel. We were there. We freshened up. We ate a bit. Then we just booked a cab for the entire day. We went to a few places. I think one of the places I don't need to say, Burj Khalifa.
The best place ever to watch.
Beautiful. It's very beautiful. And I'm so sorry, I forgot the name of that mall, but it's a very beautiful mall. And then they have these parks. I mean, the thing about these parks is it's not just grass and sitting place. It just has this divine feeling to it, and you find theater actors and all of those things. And we were just seeing the sights, moving around. I won't lie, the temperature was a bit tough to adjust to initially. So to people going to Dubai, especially on a transit, please pack light clothes. Please. First of all, no one will judge you. Second of all, please take this advice, because I was wearing a shirt and full pants, and trust me, it looked like I took showers multiple times.
So it's basically a very humid summer in there.
Yes, but
Right.
it's very beautiful, and honestly, you will enjoy it.
So one of the things we learned from this is যে হচ্ছে কাপড়ের options রাখাটা খুব দরকার. No matter how light you pack, the
Must.
weather can be anything. So you
জি।
can just pack accordingly. Coming back to that, there were some situations that didn't go as planned. এরকম situation গুলোতে how did you overcome it? মানে কি মানে what happened to your brain when you were doing this? What were you thinking যে এই situation আমি এগুলো focus করব বা এটা overcome করব?
Well, again, right, unforeseen circumstances. I've shared the one about our luggage and our flight. This one other time, I lost something very valuable to me. It's the first thing I pack when I go somewhere, and that is my cell phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it kind of fell through a drain, and not
That's-
just through the pipes. Sorry, not just through the roadside drain, through a pipe.
Okay, that's really unfortunate.
That was very bad, right? And
Yeah.
I had no idea what to do. And the unfortunate part about that time was that I had nobody who is an American or living in America at the time. It was just me and a couple of people who've come from Bangladesh and Toronto. So yeah, making that up, fixing that was an issue for us. I just took a flyer and I called a policeman. He said okay, and voila, in less than an hour, I had my phone with me. Granted, it was smelling and dirty.
But it was working, right?
Oh yes, completely.
That you got really lucky.
Yes.
But I think the management was really helpful. The police forces were really helpful. with that.
Extremely. I mean, the one thing, I'm very sorry, you asked me about what I loved in New York, and this is something I have to mention.
Considering you're a traveler, you're a tourist there, the amount of help you got, it's really nice. It's really kind of them.
They're actually much more helpful toward tourists, especially the
Okay.
people who are Bengali over there. I mean, this one time we were going somewhere in Manhattan, and unfortunately my phone died at the time, and I couldn't find my way, right? And I don't live there, so I don't know exactly where to stop, where to drop off. This Bengali, he overheard our conversation. He heard us speaking in Bangla.
Okay.
He took the trouble of literally taking us from wherever we were to our destination, even though that was much farther from where he was going. We were on the bus together, right? And he kind of missed work a little, but he still helped us. And yeah, that is just an example of how helpful they can be.
We'll definitely get back to more of these stories, but we'll go back to radio as well because it's time to get on air again. Hey everyone, you're listening to Radio Foorti FM and এতক্ষণ কিন্তু আমরা Facebook live ছিলাম. If you in case missed our conversation, just join right now because we're still live and you're listening to The Art of Destination Traveling brought to you by Emirates and Fly Emirates, Fly Better. That's it. We are actually talking about a lot of travel stories from Bhaiya, and he was actually telling how the management was really helpful when he lost his phone and it fell in a sewerage line. So, coming back to the stories, what are other things এরকম stories কি আছে যেটা হচ্ছে that was very notable and it's very memorable to you while you were traveling?
There is one unfortunate incident amidst a lot of fortunate ones. I kind of fell off a boat.
Okay.
Yeah, the boat kind of flipped.
That's really scary at the same time.
And unfortunately, at the time, it was a very stupid decision that I had all of my electronics, my passport, my wallet, everything on me. My wife was there too. And yeah, that was a very scary time because of two things. A, neither of us know how to swim. B, my life jacket snapped. So I was basically trying to hold on to the boat for dear life.
Okay.
And I don't know, it was just fate. We were actually very far away from shore. This was a kayak, by the way. We were very far away from shore. And very coincidentally, a fellow from California, we weren't in California at the time, but he was from California. He saw us from a very long distance. He literally swam to us and he fixed everything for us. He went and brought our stuff. He fixed the boat, and then a friend of his actually joined in, and then they took us to shore.
Okay, that was
So we
really
didn't end up
sweet.
dying in the middle of the ocean. But again, I miss all of these scary stories. I mean, if you ask me about good, memorable stories, there is just so many to say, so many to talk about. These are memorable for me, and these are amazing for me. For example, I will never forget Disney World, like I've mentioned a while ago. Once you've been to Disney World, no other theme park in the world will ever feel good.
That's the dream destination, to be honest, for everybody. The kid inside us actually wants to travel that place and just to experience what is it about, what is the hype about, and we want to be kids again all over the place.
It is just such an adrenaline rush. It's so beautiful, and Toronto is definitely a place that I would recommend. It has all the features that you would find in New York or any state in America, with this added twist of the beauty. Ontario, the entire state, is very beautiful, and the very best part about Ontario, contrary to popular belief or memes that we Bengalis see, it's not an ice hub. You can move around there. In fact, in the summer, I was wearing half pants and t-shirts.
I actually see my friends doing that because a lot of my friends moved there.
Yeah.
It's not what all the videos or the memes are about, actually.
Yeah.
It's quite okay and quite livable. That's actually very true. And since we're talking about it, we know that winter is coming and a lot of us wants to travel around the world or go to places like New York and Canada. So you can actually do it with Emirates. You can just fly Emirates and fly better, as I say all the time for a while. And you can just pack your bags, plan your tours, and you just fly with Emirates. Getting back to you, I really want to know, Jay, social media, we see a lot of travel vloggers. So do you actually watch them, or do you want to follow them all around to know the insights about it? Do you usually do that?
Well, travel vloggers, they really help us a lot, I have to be honest. Myself, I'm not really somebody who is too divulged into the media or personalities like that. But I have to admit that before going anywhere, I do look up all of these. Like I said, I do a ton of research, and the way travel vloggers help us is, to be honest, they give a very similar perspective, right? A Bengali travel vlogger will think more from my side as opposed to somebody from another country. So yes, I do follow quite a few of them, and depending on wherever I go or the type of activity I do, I hope to follow more others too.
Okay. Did you ever feel like যে আমি যেহেতু travel করছি, I should document my stories, or I should document my traveling? Did you ever feel like it?
Of course, all the time.
And how do you balance that? কেননা হচ্ছে যখন আমরা কোথাও যাই, when we are busy actually taking videos, we actually miss the experience. How do you balance that when you're traveling?
Good question. In most countries I've been to with a family member or a friend, so I give them my phone, they do the recording, I do the enjoying the experience.
Oh my God. But what do? They miss the experience.
First, there are certain people who would rather record something than experience it, and there are
You're lucky enough to get those people with
very,
you.
very, very, very lucky. So these people are you want to record it, please do so. And I am there caught enjoying the experience or doing whatever. Sometimes I have to take the camera. I mean, you can't always keep doing
Yeah,
it.
you can actually do that.
Because you have to give them that impression that, okay, no, this is a team. So
Then I have a very personal question to you.
Okay.
It was not planned, actually. Do your friends ask for your suggestions when they go for traveling? Do
All
your
the
friends rely on you?
all the time.
Are you the person je hoche knows all the insights of everything?
Anybody buys a ticket, anybody has a flight problem, anybody has anything, any issue to any country I've been to, I immediately get a call. Like this even happened just 2 months ago. A friend of mine, he was going to the States, his flight delayed. He did not call the airlines, he called me and asked me what to do.
See, everybody needs a friend like this who knows a lot about traveling. Your friends are really lucky to have you. Anyway, আমরা রেডিও থেকে এখন একটা ব্রেক নেব because it's time for some great music, and you're listening to Radio Foorti 88 FM and চলছে the art of destination traveling, brought to you by Emirates. Fly Emirates, fly better, and of course, do Foorti. I'll be back in a short while. So, coming back to the Facebook Live, and we actually were talking about a lot of stories of Bhaiya. This question, I know that you're already married, but I really want to know if you ever experienced solo traveling, or do you see other people who solo travels, and কি follow করা উচিত একটা মানুষ যখন একা একা কোথাও যাচ্ছে?
I haven't exactly been on an entire trip alone. I have been on partial trips alone, like I've gone somewhere, met a few friends, stayed at their places and stuff. But from my experience, what I can tell you about solo trip is, if you have to do it, first of all, do it before getting married.
Oh. Okay.
Second of all, when I was talking about disasters and disaster management, understand that in a solo trip, disasters are 3 times more likely to happen. you are 3 times more likely to miss something or do something, because always in a trip, what I found is that there is a sort of symbiosis, in the sense that everyone's strengths add up. In this case, it's only your strengths and a lot of your weaknesses, at least a lot of my weaknesses. So, for example, I get a bit careless, I forget stuff. I obviously forgot my train from one state to the other. So I had to stay overnight in the state I was. And the problem was the friend's house I was staying at, he left.
Okay.
So I kind of had to book a makeshift Airbnb. And unfortunately, it was in a very shady area. But it was actually a good experience. I mean, people call these shady areas and games like GTA or movies, they make you afraid of these places, but it's actually not like that. In this case, the learning experience here is A, obviously you have contingency plans or contingency money, and B is don't be afraid. Like, do exactly what you wanted to do. I spent the entire night talking to random people, literally just exploring and living the life I want to do. Like, literally, if I want to take off my shirt and put it on the middle of the room, I'll do that. Obviously, people would want to do more explicit stuff, but let's not go into that. So a solo trip is basically about exploring yourself and doing exactly what you want to do. That's my advice. Don't hold back. And if you have to hold back, don't go on a solo trip.
True, you should have the courage when you're going on a solo trip. You have to know that you have to bear the courage because you're there all by yourself. But the experience is really good as well, because I have friends যারা solo travel করতেই পছন্দ করে. They love their alone time and exploring without any questions or any bugs and everything. I have a lot of people around me who loves to do that. Anyway, since you travel a lot, and যখন we were talking about what you pack, what you don't pack, অনেক তো হয় না ট্রাভেল করতে করতে people gets tired. There are a lot of things that you should take care of yourself, not মানে অনেক রিসার্চ করার পরেও we forget to take care of ourselves. So what do you do?
Depending on the weather, you either carry sunscreen if it's a very hot country, like we've mentioned Dubai a while ago, or even in the States during the summer it can get very hot, especially in Florida. It's something that you might not believe is Florida is actually hotter than Bangladesh.
Okay.
But it doesn't feel that
I think it's less humid.
Much less humid.
Yeah.
It's actually, the humidity isn't the difference, because it's a country surrounded by water. States surrounded by water. It's more that the air is fresher, less pollution, so the dirt sticks to you less. I mean, there is no dirt virtually, so it feels better. And obviously carry water. Don't think that it's a cold country, I don't need water. No, it's the exact opposite. When it's warm, you're sweating a lot, you're losing water. When it's cold, your mouth dries up, your neck dries up. Again, you're losing water.
Either way, you have to stay hydrated.
Always, all the time, stay hydrated. If there's any other thing that somebody does to take care of themselves, for example, my wife, she likes to pamper herself, or just, some just general skin stuff.
Because of the weather change, I think we should actually take care of the skin gets quite dark.
For example, hair gets very frizzy in the cold weather. So if you have any of these kind of situations, just to be prepared for that. Yeah.
So basically, whatever you do for yourself here, do it even more when you're traveling, because you need that care. You need to be okay while you're traveling. একটা জিনিস কিন্তু very important. It's carrying a first aid kit or some medicines with you when you're traveling, especially when you're hiking. People love hiking, and this is something they miss, because I personally faced this, that we went to hike and থাকে না হাঁটতে চলতে হচ্ছে এরকম কেটে যেতেই পারে and everything. So you should always be prepared and take safety measures as much as possible. We'll go back to radio. We're actually almost at the end of the show, but we are going to go back to radio. Hello everyone, welcome back once again. You're listening to Radio Foorti 88 FM and Cholche, the art of destination traveling, brought to you by Emirates. Fly Emirates, fly better. And এতক্ষণ কিন্তু আমরা অনেক কিছু নিয়ে কথা বলছিলাম. We were talking about the safety measures that you should do while traveling, solo traveling experience, and if you have missed it, don't worry, we're still live on Radio Foorti's official Facebook page, and you can actually watch us there and listen to us at the same time. Anyway, let's go back to the stories that when you're planning your trips, থাকে না যে ইম্পালসিভ ট্রাভেলিং করে অনেকে জাস্ট ব্যাগ নিয়ে বের হয়ে যায় আজকে আমি ট্রিপ দিতে যাব হোয়াট ডু ইউ প্ল্যান ahead মানে আমি এতক্ষণ শুনে যা বুঝলাম ইউ আর সামওয়ান হু রিসার্চেস আ লট বাট ডু ইউ গো অন ইম্পালসিভ ট্রিপস জাস্ট লাইক দ্যাট
মাঝে মাঝে yes
what are the places you have gone so far
for example in Bangladesh it's happened so many times I can't begin to count on it but if I'm talking about trips abroad, In the States, I remember there was this time like my mother was thinking that she's going to visit her relatives. And I was like, you know what, I want to go somewhere else. And just like that, I decided that I'm going to go to a different state. I had no idea about that state, to be
That
honest.
you can actually call that a solo traveling.
Yes,
can.
it
You
is
actually
kind
can.
of a solo
Yeah.
trip. Right.
Yeah.
It kind of is a solo trip. I thought, why not? So I took the bus, which was actually a pretty long journey. And while I was going there, I did not book my hotel or anything of the sort. I was like, you know what, let me go there and I'll find out. And while I was going there, this man, I've never met him in my life, nothing. In fact, he would fit the typical definition of what you'd call somebody who lives door by door or somebody who crashes on the couch. And I don't know how I got to talking with him. Like I said, I love talking to random people. And he suggested this website to me that helps you find literally couches to crash on.
All right.
Right.
That's
So
very
I went to
different.
that website and I literally found a house with a family that actually let me sleep on their couch the entire night.
That's
And
very
they
unique.
actually
This is
made
the first
food for
time I
me.
actually heard about this.
Yeah. This is very available in the US and in Europe. And I spent 2 nights like that before moving to a hotel. And the third night, they really requested me to stay
Okay.
because I actually had a beautiful time there. It's such a different experience staying with a different family of a different background, different nationality. Even during that time, I just did what they were doing. We were going to different places.
So ভালো
they-
একটা networking and the bonding হয়ে গেছে. You made new friends.
Oh, right. I made a lot of new friends. I made they were Colombian. I made a Colombian mother and father and brother and sister for 2 days.
Great.
And I enjoyed their culture. It's much more open and friendlier than ours. And then on the third day, I was like, okay, let me crash somewhere else. I moved into an Airbnb, actually, not a hotel. And then I just went sightseeing on myself.
Can you recommend a place that is to you, it's a hidden gem and you want people to go there more? দেশেও হতে পারে, বিদেশেও হতে পারে.
দেশে যদি বলি, বাংলাদেশে সেন্ট মার্টিনস।
It's
অবশ্যই
not a hidden gem.
এটা হিডেন জেম না, অবশ্যই হিডেন জেম না। তবে এইটার জিনিসটা হচ্ছে কি, মানে এটার যে হাইপটা পাওয়া উচিত সেটা সেই হাইপটা পায় নাই।
Like the experience is more vast.
মানে আমি সেন্ট মার্টিনে, আমি বাংলাদেশে অনেক জায়গায় গিয়েছি, অবশ্যই সব জায়গায় যাইনি, আমার চেয়ে বেশি অনেক জায়গায় গেছে মানুষ। তবে সেন্ট মার্টিনস যখন আমি লাস্ট টাইম গেলাম, মনে হয় না যে আমি একটা বাংলাদেশের জায়গা আসছি, বিশেষ করে কক্সবাজারের সাথে যখন তুলনা করছি। মানে কক্সবাজার ইটস কক্সবাজার, আর সেন্ট মার্টিনসে যে ক্লিয়ার পানি, আমার হাঁটু পর্যন্ত পানি, তবে আমি একদম আমার পা পর্যন্ত দেখতে পাচ্ছি। আর এত সুন্দর একটা এনভায়রনমেন্ট, সুন্দর চলচলন মানুষের, আর হোটেলগুলো এত সুন্দর। এখনও অনেকজন আছে যারা ভাবে যে হচ্ছে সন্ধ্যার পরে কারেন্ট থাকে না, কিন্তু সেটা কিন্তু আমাদের কেস ছিল না। আমরা অনেক ভালো করেই ছিলাম এবং অনেক সুন্দর ছিল, এবং আমাদের হোটেলটাই ছিল লিটারালি বিচেই, মানে বিচেই।
Actually all of these are actually ওই সাইডে I think most of them are aligned by the beach.
অনেকগুলো পাওয়া যায় ওখানে, এটা ঠিক। হ্যাঁ, অনেকগুলো এরকম পাওয়া
বাইরের
যায়।
কোন hidden gem you would love to suggest to people যে বিদেশে you experience this?
So many places. So I guess I'll mention a few based on categories. For a football fan, you have to go to the stadium and the pubs or bars or whatever around them. It's just, it'll make you feel like you've achieved life. I don't know why it's not talked about, but Orlando is a hidden gem for me. And I've already mentioned this. It's mostly because of Disney World and the other sightseeings. And in Australia, there is this place in Sydney. I think it's called the Black Reefs. I'm very sorry, I don't remember the exact name, but anybody can find it out. It's a very beautiful beach surrounded by corals, and the corals have a lot of formations. There are these mini mountains. Some of them actually formed human-like figures naturally. It's so beautiful that people should go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back for the very last time, and you are actually listening to The Art of Destination Traveling, brought to you by Emirates. Emirates, fly better. And we were actually listening to a lot of stories, and if you have missed it, it's on Radio Foorti's official Facebook page. You can rewatch, or you can just watch us on Radio Foorti's official Facebook page right now. Anyway, so we were talking about the hidden gems and everything. Since we are actually grown-ups, we have to plan ahead our trips and everything. What do you suggest একটা entrepreneur বা একটা job holder বা একটা working person কিভাবে একটা travel অথবা একটা tour কে plan করবে?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, like what I did was, I actually tried to integrate So this actually helped me a lot. The last time I was in a conference in the States, the airlines kind of helped us a lot because it was kind of a promotional pricing or something during that time for those attendees. I would recommend to, especially for working people and more importantly for entrepreneurs, that when you're flying abroad like this, to look for deals or situations like these that integrate your work into your trip. And obviously you need to work online. Do not keep it on hold. Last time I was there, I was working from there, but thankfully I could both travel and also attend the work. It was a funding thing at the same time.
Okay, that's really great. If I talk about what's in your bucket list right now, since the year is ending, a lot of us are gonna travel. So what's in your bucket list next?
Well, to be honest, let's be honest, flying to certain countries is a bit expensive sometimes. What I do is I kind of do look for deals. So like the last time what I did, and in fact next month what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go into, like, for example, Emirates website and look at what deals there are, what packages there are, and this is heavily going to influence my decision. But I'm feeling like it's going to be somewhere in either North America or Europe. Probably I might look to go back to London because I haven't been there in a while. But it might be the States too.
And Christmas is coming, New Year's is coming. You're gonna love it actually.
Oh my God! At that time, it's so beautiful over there. So beautiful.
That's actually something you're gonna very much enjoy.
Yes.
And since we're at the end of this show, and if you have anything to say to our beautiful audiences, you can say, this is your chance.
Well, I don't know what much to say. Thank you for having me, and safe travels.
Thank you so much. And we have actually learned. This was an entire conversation. This was a storytelling kind of a situation. We learned a lot of things, what to do, what not to do, and what are the things you might face while traveling. And I think this was a very good info for you when you're traveling next. So this was Mezabeen. You were listening to The Art of Destination Traveling, brought to you by Emirates. As I say, fly Emirates, fly better, and do Foorti.